We are now starting Unit 4, and the first lesson of this unit will cover the different kinds of progressive tenses. Progressive tenses are formed by using the auxiliary verb estar followed by the present participle form of a verb. The regular present participles for AR verbs are formed by removing the AR ending and adding ando to the stem. For ER and IR verbs, we also remove the ending and this time add yendo to the stem. So for the verb hablar, we remove the AR ending, giving us the stem hable. And to this stem we add ando, giving us the present participle hablando. For comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. And to this stem we add yendo, giving us the present participle comiendo. For the verb vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. And to this stem we add yendo, giving us the present participle viviendo. The endo endings that we see in Spanish are equivalent to the English ing endings that we place at the end of a verb. Present participles express continuing or ongoing actions. So a few examples in English are talking, eating, and living. Some verbs have irregular present participles, and we're going to cover them in a separate lesson. So you must know how to conjugate estar in all tenses and moods in order to be able to use all the different kinds of progressive tenses. These include the present progressive, imperfect progressive, preterite progressive, future and conditional progressive, present progressive subjunctive, imperfect progressive subjunctive, future progressive subjunctive. So the conjugation of estar will change according to the subject tense and mood, but the present participle form of a verb will remain the same regardless. First is the present progressive, which indicates an action is happening at this moment. Estoy comiendo lo que cocinaste. Estás interrumpiendo cuando hablo. Tu amigo está estudiando química. Estamos caminando al parque. Tus estudiantes están escribiendo bien. The simple present can also be used to describe ongoing actions. ¿Qué haces? Friego el piso. As well as the present progressive. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Estoy fregando el piso. The imperfect progressive indicates an action was happening in the past. Estaba comiendo cuando me llamaste. Estabas interrumpiendo mientras que hablaba. Tu amigo estaba estudiando química. Estábamos caminando al parque cuando te vimos. Tus estudiantes estaban escribiendo bien. I want to highlight that the underlined verbs llamaste and vimos are conjugated in the preterite. In these situations, the actions that were interrupted are in the imperfect progressive, and the actions that did the interrupting are in the preterite. The preterite progressive indicates an action was happening in the past, but it was completed or stopped. By contrast, the imperfect progressive emphasizes that the action was still in progress. Estuve comiendo hasta que me llamaste. This indicates that I was eating up until the point that you called me. Estuviste hablando cuando te interrumpí. This indicates that you were talking up until the point that I interrupted you. Tu amigo estuvo estudiando hasta las 9. This indicates that your friend was studying up until 9 o'clock, and he stopped at 9 o'clock. Estuvimos caminando hasta que te vimos. We were walking until we saw you, and then we stopped walking when we saw you. Los estudiantes estuvieron escribiendo cuando la clase terminó. So the students were writing when the class ended, and then when the class ended, they stopped writing. The preterite progressive is not as commonly used. You will more often use the imperfect progressive, but it can still be useful to know regardless. The future progressive indicates an action will be happening in the future. Estaré comiendo en la sala. Estarás hablando en español para la próxima clase. Tu amigo estará estudiando química. Estaremos caminando al parque cuando vuelves. Los estudiantes estarán escribiendo sus ensayos. The conditional progressive indicates an action would be, might be, or must be happening. Sabías que estaría comiendo aquí. Estarías hablando bien español si estudiara más. ¿Dónde está tu amigo? Estaría estudiando. Si estuvieras aquí, estaríamos caminando al parque. Los estudiantes estarían escribiendo al mediodía. The present progressive subjunctive is similar to the present progressive, but with the present subjunctive form of estar activated. No cree que esté comiendo suficiente. Prefiero que no estés hablando durante la prueba. Es dudoso que tu amigo esté estudiando química. Es importante que estemos caminando juntos. Espero que los estudiantes estén escribiendo. The imperfect progressive subjunctive indicates hypothetical, ongoing actions in the past, when the imperfect subjunctive form of estar is activated. Si estuviera comiendo, no comería en la sala. Es como si estuvieras hablando sin pensar. Era dudoso que tu amigo estuviera estudiando. Era improbable que estuviéramos caminando al parque. Esperaba que los estudiantes estuvieran escribiendo bien. The future subjunctive, as we know, is very rare to begin with, so the future progressive subjunctive is also going to be very rarely seen. But here are a few examples. Se impondrá penas muy graves a quien estuviera cometiendo estos delitos. Se aplicará prisión de 25 años al que estuviera infringiendo estas leyes. You can also use the infinitive form of estar followed by the present participle. Debo estar saliendo ahora. Podría estar llegando en una hora. Su salud parecía estar mejorando. Estar viviendo en esta época tenemos mucha suerte. And with that, we have covered the basics of the progressive tenses. As I always say, I would very much appreciate it if you can please share this video series with your friends and teachers. And that is all for now, so until next time.